The Israeli military's carried out raids for a second night north of Hebron in the occupied West Bank. More than 40 Palestinians were rounded up in the town of Beit Ummar. In Hebron, 3 people were wounded as the Israeli army conducted operations. Israeli forces are also carrying out widespread raids in Nablus, targeting the city and several nearby Palestinian villages. Going to stay with news from the West Bank. Video has emerged of an Israeli raid in Al-Farah refugee camp south of Tubas last week. It shows a 15-year-old Palestinian boy shot by Israeli forces and rolling around on the ground in distress. He sits up briefly before collapsing. Israeli soldiers can be seen rendering no medical assistance at all. He later died of his wounds. Nour Odeh is live for us in Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. Allegations have been made that Israeli soldiers doing nothing to help isn't an isolated incident. What more can you tell us about what's been happening, Nour?
Well, Rob, this isn't an isolated incident. The story of this 15-year-old boy, Jadallah, is really quite heart-wrenching because it was caught on video. Israeli soldiers shot the boy, then waited him out. They were there, gathering around him, walking around him as he struggled, as he tried to sit up. Nobody was allowed to come to his rescue. The paramedics were barred from accessing him. And then when he died, Israeli soldiers took his body and detained it. And this is another standard policy, standard practice of the Israeli soldiers across the occupied West Bank now in all of the raids, whether the person who's shot and killed is someone they accuse of being involved in armed resistance or an ordinary civilian who was shot and killed by Israeli soldiers. It doesn't matter the age or the identity or the circumstance. Taking the body of those killed is now standard policy, and it really tortures the family because they're denied the right to give them a proper, dignified burial. They're denied the right to get to their loved one and understand what happened and why.
And as we were mentioning before, Nour, is the Israeli military carrying out raids for a second night? What's been going on there?
Well, Beit Ummar is a town right north of Hebron, Rob, and for more than 24 hours, Israeli occupation soldiers were there. They basically imposed a lockdown on that community, detaining about 100 people, beating many of them up before releasing them. And we've heard some testimony of young and old men suffering bruises and other such injuries because of that maltreatment. Now, the raid follows a standard procedure, again, another standard procedure by Israeli soldiers of raiding the homes of Palestinians accused of attacking Israelis, locking it down, taking measurements in anticipation of demolishing that home. In that particular community, the whole building housing 4 families will be demolished. It was locked down, sealed, and the 4 families were kicked out of that building with nothing but the clothes on their back.
Nour Odeh talking to us from Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. Thank you very much indeed.
Don't miss out and get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.